Hey, you there! I want to remind everybody that if you end up liking this video, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. And right now, YouTube says that over 90% of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, so it would really help, and with that... Hello everybody, I'm Joel Helming, your guys' host for episode 10 of the Joel Helming Show series, Minecraft Monday. Now today's episode is a little bit different in the essence that I'm going to be taking you guys through a full and complete tour of a build that I made a while ago for my best friend Joseph. Now with knowing a friend for so long comes some things that you like to do for each other, and one of the things that I like to do for Joseph is build him sort of things in video games. It's an odd thing, I know, but and since I've been playing Minecraft quite a lot recently, I thought why not build him something that he likes in Minecraft. So today's build is actually inspired by a place that I'm sure a lot of you are aware of. It is a military base called Area 51. This was a big thing a while ago with a bunch of people that thought there were aliens or something weird like that inside, so they raided it and whatever. But this is something that my friend Joseph had actually wanted to sort of get into, and, well, I sort of made it sound like he wanted to get into raiding that place. Okay, a bit of an interruption there. No problem, though. But yeah, so that gives me all the more reason to start walking around here and explain a little bit of it to you. So my friend Joseph, I sort of made it sound like he wanted to raid Area 51 along with a bunch of people, but I was sort of meaning to get at the point that he wanted to build something like that in Minecraft. So, and since his building skills, well, just aren't really as good as mine in many cases, I decided to be nice and build him something to surprise him when he gets online with me next. So as you can see here, this is the sort of Area 51 inspired military base build here in Minecraft. So as you can kind of see there, it does not have an official name yet, but it does have a very nice look to it, a lot better than its name, obviously, with a nice cobblestone and smooth stone sort of fence running around the outside with a bunch of iron bars sort of looking like a fence, I guess, or like a proper gate, which, getting this husk out of the way, we can go ahead and step inside this gate sort of section here with a little bit of tiger striping or whatever you want to call it, and then the smooth stone running around, and we do actually have a couple of redstone torches there along the top. And then, obviously, as you can tell, this is set in the desert for the same reason my friend Joseph wanted to have this whole entire build set in the desert, so, well, that's why I built it for him. And then, as you can see here, the floor is made out of stone, and this building is sitting here in the center, which, speaking of the building, you can see that there is actually no proper way to get inside other than this sort of door here, which is shut. So, the way that you have to get in is just place a lever there and flip it, and then a whole entire sequence of pistons and different redstone mechanics under there activate and open up the door and make it sort of hidden, other than the pistons up there, which suspiciously have a vent running up to them, and a very odd looking stairway, which I will explain a bit more on the redstone mechanics later in the video for those of you that are interested. But for the mass majority of this video, I want to take a look at the outside, and then for those of you that are interested in that sort of thing, I will go over the redstone mechanics in detail towards the end of the video, once again, for those of you that do want to see that. So obviously here on the inside it is quite basic. Now, due to this being sort of a build being meant for my friend Joseph, I'm going to leave it up to him to decide what the inside should look like. But for right now, there's just a crafting table, which I was using while I was building this. And then we have the stairway, which, as I sort of pointed to earlier, is quite odd looking, and that is for the main purpose that it does actually have a bunch of redstone running through it, because that lever actually has a line of redstone going all the way to under here for this bottom set of pistons, and a line running off going through up through this staircase up to the second floor underneath a bunch of stuff up here, and all the way to this set of pistons. But yeah, other than that, this first floor is quite simple with just a cobblestone floor and a line of smooth stone running along the outside, and obviously the base of the building is also cobblestone, and the highlights are sort of more made out of smooth stone. It kind of looks like the structural part of the building, if you ask me. It looks more like beams and stuff like that. But yeah, so obviously with the staircase with the redstone running through, the redstone then runs underneath the super furnace, which is a manual super furnace. You have to actually put everything in yourself, so it is not a redstone sort of automatic one, but this was built for the pure purpose of hiding the redstone that is actually running underneath it. As you can see there, this is actually that vent that you can see there, and obviously this did require a lot of redstone and a lot of redstone repeaters to get this line going all the way from over there, underground, running through the staircase, and all the way up here, which when I say it like that, it sounds quite simple, but it was quite the task to actually get all set up. And then thankfully, as you can see, I did take a couple sort of design choices here to try to make it look nice, which I was able to do due to stairs actually being not counted as full blocks, I guess, which you can see here that the redstone, even when I break this, doesn't get moved. It does run straight underneath these stairs, which is nice, because as I said, I was able to take some design perspectives on this and make it look a little bit better, as if then I just had a big block of cobblestone. But over here on the ends, obviously, I did try to use these sea lanterns that are also lights on the first floor as sort of display case lights here on the second floor. So this one just has an armor stand, and once again, for the pure purpose that this will be Joseph's base. Eventually, I'm going to leave it up to him to set up random things, or, well, to set up all the permanent stuff that goes in here. But for now, everything is just quite random, and obviously a lot of things aren't there, like usually you'd expect there to be another armor stand over here. But I do, in fact, only have one there right now. We have another crafting table, and past the super furnace, we have a little chest area, which is a sort of split up with some end rods for light, which I do like. They look sort of like the rods, like the, I don't really know what they're called in real life, but the sort of like the big long tube lights that you can get, the big glass tubes that have like gases and stuff inside, which you can then use as lights. They're not light bulbs, they're quite larger, and that is why I sort of like these. They look a little bit more sort of military, high grade. And then here we do actually have the chest room area, which obviously has a bunch of chests, and once again with the same thing going on, this is all just randomly assorted. There's just a bunch of random stuff all throughout here, and on the other side, I believe these are actually all empty right now. Yeah. So this is still up for debate for Joseph to do whatever he wants. But yeah, so there is the main part of the build, and then obviously, as for the rest of the build, we have a lot of glass, so you can see inside. It's not very military-like, because usually military, sort of high-grade, secretive buildings, from what I've seen, are usually not prone to having glass all over the place, because glass is a lot easier to break than any form of like stone and stuff like that. And now that we've taken a look at sort of like the cosmetics and the inside of the build, I want to go ahead and show you guys the redstone for those of you that want to know how I built this door. So let's go ahead and start this overview of the redstone mechanics of this door by sort of recapping on the things that I sort of simplified and sort of dumbed down a little bit when I was talking about the actual main build. So as I mentioned earlier, this lever, underneath this lever, we actually have a sort of redstone line that runs all the way, sort of, and does a weird maze all the way through the redstone mechanics under here. And then we have another line that runs this way, somewhere. Maybe right here. So it runs through over here and obviously goes through a couple redstone torch things so that we can obviously get the signal to stay on and the door to stay shut when we're not home, or, well, not here rather. And that is done the same with the line that runs out here. Now I'm going to go ahead and actually walk inside past this very slow sort of sequence, and I'm actually just going to go right here, I believe. Yeah, I had a staircase sort of area here. And then walking underground, as you can see, this is all the redstone for the door. Now here is those two pistons that are on the floor, and then obviously the other two, or the other set of pistons, are up here, and these ones are, you know, sort of a double piston extender setup with a row of pistons down here and a row of pistons down there. Now, the whole entire line of redstone that I was saying was going through a maze is actually this line that goes underneath and through everything, and this line does just run back to that lever, and this is that redstone torch setup that I was talking about earlier. So this torch is what's actually responsible for keeping the door closed when the lever is either taken off of its sort of base platform rock thing, or when you have the door actually open. This is all what's responsible for keeping it in the position that the lever is actually flipped to. And then that goes to this redstone torch, which is then actually responsible for the mechanics, rather than just actually turning off the whole entire machine, or the, I guess whatever you want to call this, contraption. Yeah, so under there, that is the basics, but now let's go ahead and get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty, and I'll explain to you the sequence in which everything happens. So as you can see here, if I take this off, you can see that is how the door shuts, and you saw this piston and this piston actually did do some activation, which this one is now in the extended position, and this one is in the off position, or in the sort of compressed position, I guess, whatever you would like to say. And when we place this back, there is a long sequence that will go on, and this is going to be the hard part to explain, because there's a lot that's about to happen. So placing this, yeah. So it's kind of simple if you know what you're doing, or if you know your way around Redstone. But for someone like me that usually doesn't do a lot of Redstone stuff all the time, rather than actually a lot of building, such as all of this, it is a little bit hard to explain. So I'm going to go ahead and start with what goes on first. So when you activate this center piston activates, and then you have this, well, if I don't get stuck underground, then this set of pistons that is then moved to this position, this level right here, then activates again and moves that set of stone into this position, where these pistons can then come down and sort of look like they are once again part of this setup, when in reality they are actually a completely different thing. And then once that is all open, that is the simple part. And then when you close it, what actually happens is this whole entire observer setup is activated, and then it deactivates these pistons so they shrink down or compress, and then, well, actually, I said that in the wrong way. These ones will compress from their position right up here, so they will then pull down that set, or these set of smooth stone to this level, so they would then be one block above the flush level here, and then this can then pull that down again, and then we just basically have the rest of the double piston extender setup going on here, but obviously it is a bit more complicated due to its size. But then once these are pulled down to this level, then this whole entire setup of repeaters and timing going through here then activates this, which cuts off this line, and then allows this to activate, which I believe if I actually, I think I have to pull this off. Yeah, you can see that when I pull that off, or when this line is interrupted, these will activate again, which happens after everything is pulled down, and then they pull the block down flush, which as you can see there, well, I keep on falling on the same line of redstone, but if I go up here and pull off that sort of line there, you will actually see that if I go up here to the surface, you can actually see that, once again, as I said, they are one block above the sort of ground level, or where they would usually be flush. And then when I place that bit of redstone there, they do go down to the ground level. And that, I once again do apologize for my horrible skills at explaining redstone. I'm not good at it at all. But yeah, so if that made any sense to you, I really do hope that you guys enjoyed this video on exploring this build. I know it is a little bit different, and obviously with my quite horrible skills of actually doing tours of any kind, I do hope that you guys were able to actually make it through today's video without getting very annoyed and tired of listening to my annoying voice. But yeah, with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. I enjoyed making it, as well as this build. I do quite like the vibe of the sort of military thing. But with all that being said, if you guys enjoyed today's video,